The final countdown. The last one. All right. So, recap, dice, and free goodies. So, I've got some good stuff for you guys, some free goodies for making it here. First, I just want to say I appreciate you guys. I want to recap what we've gone over so you have a good mental inventory of all the things that we've gone over in one clean place. And then I want to tell you a story that changed my life. So, first thing we covered was how to define a lead from this point forward. It's a person that you can contact. But now that you know what you're after, which is engaged leads, not just leads, which is a person you can contact who has shown interest in the stuff you sell, that is the output of advertising, and that's what we're trying to do. Once you have, or you know that you want engaged leads, then you have to figure out how to engage them. And so we figured out how to turn leads into engaged leads with an offer or lead magnet, and how to make them, all the steps that outline making an amazing lead offer that get more people to want to buy your stuff. Once we have that lead magnet, we then advertise it using the core four. So we do the only 4 ways that anyone can let other people know about the stuff we sell. And those are asking our warm audience in terms of warm outreach. So we ask people we know, ask them if they know anybody. Remember, we're not actually pitching them. We're asking them if they know anybody who might be interested in a free thing. 2, we post publicly. So we hook, retain, reward, and we give until they ask by posting content. 3, we talk about how to reach out to strangers one-on-one with lists, personalization, big fast value, and lots of volume, which we facilitate through automation and technology. 4, how to run paid ads to strangers with targeting, callouts, the what, who, whens, CTAs, and client finance acquisition to make the entire thing profitable. We talked about maximizing the core 4 with more, better, new. Depending on the size of your business, it might be better, more, new. But either way, it's how you get more out of the core 4. So what keeps us from doing what I'm currently doing at 10 times the volume? And then we solve for that. From the better perspective, finding the constraint of our advertising and then testing it until we free the constraint. Then doing more until it gets constrained again. Next, we have the 4 lead getters. So once we know how to do the core 4 and we've maximized it with more, better, new, then we go to the 4 lead getters. And those are customers, employees, agencies, and affiliates. We figure out how to get our customers to refer other customers to us, which is basically customers doing the core 4 on our behalf. We figure out how to get employees. We advertise it to them using the same 8, but just internally, and get them to scale our advertising on our behalf in whatever way we do the core 4. Then we talked about how to get an agency to teach you new skills, because when you do want to do that new thing, it's one of the fastest ways to learn the new skill, and having an upfront agreement with them that they can transfer the skill to you in a way that benefits you both. But just being transparent, honest up front, and I think the way that I have done it has worked very well for me. And then 4, how to get affiliates launched and integrated so that they continue to do the core 4 on your behalf as business owners, and they just continue to flood your business with more leads than you can possibly handle. And your business compounds as you get more and more affiliates every single month, and they keep advertising on your behalf. Now that we know the core 4, we know how to get engaged leads, we know what a lead is, we know the 4 lead getters, then we talk about taking advertising into the real world. So I talk about the rule of 100 and open to goal, and setting your day up so that you can actually do these activities every single day to get the number of engaged leads that you want. So the 5-step, 1-page advertising plan to get more leads today. Next, we go over the 7 levels of advertising and the $100 million leads machine in action, what it looks like when it's actually right. And so that leads us to the last section.
So I want to tell you the story that I made up and wrote specifically to create an analogy or a parable for advertising. And every time I've told this story to entrepreneurs who are going through a hard time or trying to figure out a new advertising platform, it seems to really resonate. And so rather than kind of just talk to it, I actually want to read it to you directly from the book, because I think it's such a powerful story and I don't want to miss anything, and I spent a really, really long time on it. And I actually wrote this down the first time 4 years ago, and I've edited it probably 30 times over that 4-year period to get it down to the concise and simplest way to describe it to you. So enjoy. So I call this the many-sided die. Imagine you and a friend play a dice rolling game. You're each given 1 die. One of the die has 20 sides. The other has 200. On each die, only one side is green, and the rest are red. The point of the game is simple. Roll green as many times as you can. And the rules of the game are as follows. You can't see how many sides you have. You can only see if you roll red or green. If you roll green, one of your red sides turns green, and you get to roll again. If you roll red, nothing happens, and you get to roll again. The game ends when you stop rolling, and if you stop rolling, you lose. So what do? You roll. When you roll red, you pick up the die and roll again. When others roll green, you pick up the die and roll again. When you roll green, you pick up the die and roll again. You keep telling yourself one thing: the more I roll, the more greens I get. At first, you roll green once in a while, but as more red sides turn green, the greens happen more. With enough rolls, hitting green becomes the rule rather than the exception. What does your friend do? He rolls a few times and hits red each time. He sees you roll a green and complains that you must have a die with fewer sides. He reasons it's the only way you could have rolled green before him. And although you did, you also rolled many more times. So which is it? In either case, he rolls a few more times in frustration and hits a green. But then he complains about how long it took. He spent more time watching you and complaining than actually playing. Meanwhile, you've hit your green streak. It's so much easier for you, he tells himself. You get greens every time. This game is rigged. What's the point? And he quits. So who got the die with 20 sides? And who got the die with 200 sides? If you get the game, then you see once you roll enough times, the die you're given doesn't matter. The die with fewer sides might roll green sooner. The die with more sides might roll green later. But a die with a green side always has a chance of hitting green if you roll it. Every die hits its green streak when rolled enough times. All of us get a many-sided die, and looking at other players, you have no idea if it's their 100th roll or their 100,000th roll. You don't know how good other players are when they start. You can only see how well they do now. But if you understand the game, you also know it doesn't matter. A few begin playing early. Others begin much later. The rest sit on the sidelines complaining about how lucky the players are. I guess so, but they're luckier because they play. And when they hit red, which they do, they didn't quit. They rolled again. Learning to advertise is a lot like the game of the many-sided die. You do not know if it will work until you try. And when you start advertising, you will probably hit red on your first few rolls. But if you try enough times, you will hit green. And when it works, you have a better chance of getting it to work again. The more you do it, the easier it gets. You begin to understand the game. No matter how many players there are or number of sides on the die you're given, you start to see the only two guarantees. One is that the more times you roll, the better you get. And two, if you quit, you lose. So here's my final promise. You cannot lose if you do not quit.
During my hardest days, I repeated the same phrase to myself: I cannot lose if I do not quit. And my hope is that for everyone who just went through this whole training and went through the book, you get that there's a lot of failure in advertising. If anything, there's more failure in advertising than almost any other skill within business. But the thing is that when you win, you can win big. And the more you win, the better you get at it. And I've been doing this for a little bit of time, and I've been pretty good at it. And I still expect to lose more times than I win. And so I think that if people come in with this expectation they're going to hit it out of the park on the first roll, they set themselves up for failure. Because again, the only thing you can do, even if you do hit it off the park the first time, is you're still going to have to pick the die up and roll again. And you might hit red. And that's okay. And so I think if you just commit to the process and you commit to rolling and doing the only thing you can do, which is to keep going, you will signal the other guarantee, which is that if you roll enough times, you will hit green. And if you roll for long enough, you can only hit greens. But you got to start rolling. So with that, we go to the final CTA. Of course, I have to follow my own advice here. I hope you enjoyed this training. I have a couple goodies for you guys for those who actually follow through with stuff, for making it here, because a lot of people start things and don't finish them, so I want to reward you for finishing and following through. So if you're struggling to figure out who to sell to, I made this bonus chapter between $100 million offers and $100 million leads called Finding Your Avatar, I think, is the name of the title. Either way, it talks about how to figure out the ideal customer to sell to. And it's a lost chapter. I put it as like a hit single between albums. So you can go to acquisition.com/avatar, or you can scan the QR code. If you're struggling to figure out what to sell, that's what $100 million offers, the book, is all about. So if you want, you can scan that QR code and go there and you grab a copy of the book. I think it's $199 or whatever the cheapest thing they let you do on Amazon is. You can grab it there, whatever copy you want. If you're struggling to get people to buy, my next book will be on persuasion and sales. So get excited about that. If you want a job at acquisition.com or one of our portfolio companies, we love hiring from Mosey Nation. So go to acquisition.com/careers/open-jobs, or you can scan that QR code, which may be the more up-to-date one. Try both. I'm sure you're a hardworking person. You will be able to figure it out if you want to. If your company's doing over $1 million in profit, we'd love to invest in your business and help you scale. It brings us a lot of pleasure to know our portfolio's companies have grown so much bigger and faster than mine because they avoided the mistakes that I made. And so like for me, I think the biggest testament of being a good, I don't like the word teacher because it feels really loaded, but I'll just say this. My best gym did $600,000 a year in revenue. Of all the gyms I had, the best one did $600,000 a year. The average gym lord today does over $600,000 a year. The average. So like my best gym of the 6 that I had is now just the average of the gyms that work with Gym Launch. And I see that as a micro example of what acquisition.com is that many of the companies in the portfolio that we have grow a lot faster than Gym Launch did. And they do so without making all the mistakes that I made. And so for me, I feel like that's a testament of being able to transfer lessons and skills to the next generation of entrepreneurs, et cetera. Not in an age perspective, but just in a skill transfer perspective. And for me, that's really meaningful. And I feel like I'm only here today because I had so many people ahead of me who transferred to me. And so like my goal is for you to beat me. Hopefully many, many, many of you will win, and a few of you will be able to work together. And that fills me with a lot of joy, and that's why I do this. To get the free book and downloads and video trainings that come with this book, you can go, well, you're probably watching this, but if you're watching this on YouTube, go to acquisition.com/training/leads. There's the offers training, and I'm going to be putting more trainings on the site over time, so you might see those if they're there, depending on when you watch this. And if you like listening to podcasts and want to hear more of my podcast, at the time of this writing, the podcast is top 5 in entrepreneurship and top 15 in business in the US. And so you go to acquisition.com/podcast. I'm pretty sure you should have. The audio version of this book is on there too for free, so you can go download it and listen to it if that's how you prefer to consume. It's on there. But we also intermix that with just like real world business lessons of like stuff I'm learning in real time because Elon and Warren and Zuck, they didn't make like a video log of how they got to their many billions. And my hope is that we can get there more so, one, because I think it'd be cool to call the shot, but 2, because I want to breadcrumb along the way. Kind of like I had that episode 98 where I talked about the night before the launch, before knowing what was going to happen. My hope is that, when we cross $1 billion and 10 billion or whatever, people will be able to look back on these videos and be like, man, like all the way through, he stayed consistent with it, which is cool for me. If you like to watch videos, we put a lot of resources into our free trainings, which are available to everyone. We intend on making it better than any paid stuff out there, and that was the intention behind this. And so I'll let you decide if we succeeded. And so you can go to youtube.com/@Alex Hormozi. I'm not sure if that's actually what it is, but either way, if you type in Hormozi on YouTube, you will probably find my channel, or you can scan that QR code. And if you like short form videos, check out the bite-sized content we pump out on a daily basis at acquisition.com/media. That is across all platforms, so you'll see every platform that we're on. And so if you are on one of those platforms, then follow us there, and we'll provide stuff every day for you. All right, and so I hope to meet you in your company soon. That is why I do this stuff. Per aspera ad astra, which is Seneca, which is through hardships to the stars.